Do you have $5,000 to book a flight? I generally don't, which is why I'm not booking first class and why my time in the air tends to suck. So let's dig into the tech that can make traveling in an airplane a little bit less awful. Some of these things are mainstays of my travel bag, and others are things I've just started testing that are frankly a little ridiculous, but honestly, what is life without a little ridiculous? What does feel a little unbearably ridiculous is talking about these things in this space. So let's say you and I get out of here. Okay, I am seated, I am strapped in, people are boarding, we're going to taxi to a runway soon. This feels like a good time to start with our tech travel prep. And for me, that usually begins with this, the AirFly Pro 2. This is a tiny Bluetooth transmitter and receiver that plugs into the little headphone jack in your seat back entertainment screen. And I know what some of you are thinking, Bluetooth is becoming more common on planes, but there's still room for something like this to be useful. You don't always know what's available on a plane. Sometimes things don't work, and just having this as a backup is super, super helpful. This particular model supports up to 2 Bluetooth connections, and it has these nice little clicky controls for your volume, which is nice to kind of like dial the volume down really fast when the captain says you're about to hit some turbulence. This is also a good time to start thinking about our power needs on the flight. I always carry around this 10,000 milliamp hour Anker power bank / 30-watt fast charger. I like to plug it in once I kind of hit cruising altitude, because then the real work begins for me. It'll charge at speeds of up to 30 watts. That's good enough for phones and tablets. And unless you're working with some heavy duty compute power, it's probably at the very least enough to keep your laptop from discharging fully before the end of the flight. Now that I've got a good foundation going, I need to feel like I'm not on a plane. And one of the easiest steps to take in that direction is to strap on a pair of noise-canceling headphones. Now this could be the subject of a whole video on its own. So if you actually have your own thoughts and recommendations, drop them in the comments. I do want to hear about them. Here's how I think about these things. For flights under 5 hours, which I think generally encompasses most domestic hops, that to me is perfect true wireless earbud territory. And I am generally an AirPods Pro 2 person. That is because in terms of, at least for me, fit, sound quality, and most importantly, noise cancellation blows a lot of other options out of the water. If we're talking long haul flights, over-the-ear headphones make a lot more sense. They're going to have better battery life, but also comfort plays a more important role. My go-to are the Sony WH-1000XM5s. My only real knock against them, maybe it's because I have a head like a basketball, but the cups jut out just enough that if I'm trying to sleep with my head pressed up against the wall, it's just not very comfortable. And it's genuinely because of these cups that I've had to begrudgingly start using Apple's AirPods Maxes. I don't love them generally. The sound is good, noise cancellation not as good as AirPods Pro 2, but because the cups are flatter, I find it ever so slightly easier to sleep. Look at that. Look at that. So here's maybe the most exotic part of my tech travel kit. These are a pair of augmented reality glasses from a company called XREAL. These are the Air 2 Ultras, and they cost $699. So you basically have a 1080p Sony LED in each eye, a bunch of cameras, speakers built into each arm, and this neat set of electrochromic lenses. It sort of makes the lenses darker or lighter. You can kind of select how blocked off you are from the rest of the world. Glasses like these are a great way to kind of experience your content on a screen that feels bigger and more immersive than something you'd be able to stick into your backpack or a carry-on. And for that matter, they don't look nearly as dorky as Apple's Vision Pro. And at this point, you should cut in that footage of me tripping over those boxes. Now, if that sounds like something you would like to explore, I actually wouldn't recommend these glasses at all. There's a slightly less expensive pair at $499 called the XREAL ones, and it does basically everything I want out of these for less money. So why am I using these? It's because a company called Spacetop has developed some really interesting software that, in conjunction with these glasses, turns your existing Windows PC into a full-blown spatial computer situation. It feels very Vision Pro at a fraction of the price. And when everything works the way it's supposed to, it actually genuinely rules. With all of that said, it's still pretty buggy. There have definitely been moments where I've just had to unplug the glasses and restart the software. It doesn't work on Macs at all. You have to have a very specific Windows Copilot Plus PC with Intel Arc graphics. Oh, and there's also just no way to turn the laptop screen off while you're using the glasses. No one can see what you're doing, but it does mean you're just burning through power for no reason. So why am I talking about these when they're not really meant for regular people? I think it's fair to say that we're finally approaching a point where devices like these, screens you wear on your face, are finally becoming a bit more mainstream. Yes, you are right, there is a strong chance that by using this in public, you make yourself known to be a full-blown dorcas. But I genuinely think that these are becoming so useful that we're probably no longer going to be able to write these off as niche nerd products. For better or worse, this is in part the shape of our future. And that's important because I think in so many ways, the contours of our lives, the ways that we interact and experience are set to change as well, thanks to, in part, devices like these. So over the next few weeks, we are going to try and unpack those changes as they happen with you, and I hope you'll stick around with us while we do.